Hello, my name's Chloe. I'm a threat analyst here at Wordfence, and today I'd like to walk you through what the exploitation of one of these cross-site request forgery vulnerabilities we found in the Page Builder by SiteOrigin plugin. Today I'm going to be showing you a closer look at the live editor cross-site request forgery vulnerability we found, what the exploit looks like, and how it could be exploited. This plugin offers something called the live editor, which is a place where you can go and you can edit a page or post live. You can add widgets, rows, pre-built layouts, content, anything to edit your post. And as you're doing this, it's going to update on the page automatically. So over here, let's edit this text, and we're going to go ahead and say this is a test. And as you can see, it's automatically edited. And what you don't see on the front end is that it's sending a request in the background to update that page for you. And that request is where the real vulnerability lies, because there's no nonce protection to verify that a request is coming from a legitimate authenticated session from an administrator. And here's a closer look at that request that's being sent in the background. So we have our post to the SiteOrigin's panel's live editor, which is set to true, and then we have the panel data down here and your post ID. This is what's being sent in the background to show you those edits in real time. Now, this tool I'm using is called Burp Suite. It's one of my favorite tools to use when I'm doing security research on WordPress plugins, themes, and core. And so what I've done is I've used their cross-site request forgery generator, and I've went ahead and I have made this page that we are going to use to trick our site administrator into clicking on a button that's ultimately going to send a request in the background to create a new administrative user. So just to show you kind of what this web page that I've generated looks like in a browser, I'm going to click the test in browser button. I'm going to copy this URL they give me. I'll go over here. We'll navigate to it. And here we can see we have this seemingly innocent site with just a sign up for our newsletter button. It's not very suspicious at all, but it is malicious in nature. And in the next few steps, I'll show you how this page can be used to exploit an innocent user in a cross-site request forgery attack. So now that I've given you a little bit of information about what exploit we're using and a little bit of insight about how the live editor works, let's move on to the exploitation phase. So for this exploit, I went ahead and made a comment on our blog just to show you how seemingly innocent an attack like this might look like. So we have just a comment from Chloe. She's telling us how awesome our site is and that we should check out their blog sometime. One thing that you don't see immediately is that this link is not mycoolsite.com. It's a malicious link. So once we hover over it, we can see in that bottom left corner that we have our burp URL that I previously showed you. And once we click on it, we can see that web page again. And so if we didn't know any better and we were just checking out their site and we decided we wanted to sign up for their newsletter, we'd click that button. And then we're redirected back to our site, which is kind of weird, but maybe it's just a fluke or something. So if you take a closer look, though, you can see that we have been redirected to the draft page with the SiteOrigin panel live editor that we previously saw in the request that didn't have a nonce. And if we didn't know any better, we'd just be like, whatever, just go back to our homepage or our admin panel. We'll just go back to doing whatever, maybe just decline the comment now. But what we didn't see happen when we clicked on that button is that a new user was added, and that user was attacker. And in this scenario, the username is hacker, and they have administrative privileges. So if you're not looking for the signs of a cross-site request forgery, you're not going to know that it's taking place because it's kind of hidden. So make sure to always update your plugins and themes, and make sure you're remaining aware when you're clicking on links or attachments or anything like that, because you never know what could be happening in the background. Luckily, they released a patch very quickly, version 2.10.16, so I highly recommend updating to that as soon as possible. And just to give you an idea of how this update protects you, let me go ahead and show you what our exploit attempt would look like now after the plugin has been patched. So let's go ahead and head back over to our site. And before I do this, I want to delete the hacker account that was created. And then we'll go to plugins. Go ahead and update the plugin. And now that it's been updated, let's go back to that comment. And let's click the link again. We'll click the sign up for our newsletter button. That's supposed to send the request in the background. And here we can see that we just get this odd page, which indicates that the attack was unsuccessful. So let's go back to our users and verify that no administrative user was injected this time. And there you go. You can see that there's no new administrative user after clicking on the link because no request was set in the background, because in the latest version of the plugin, they implemented nonce protection. So it verifies the source of the request. It's highly recommended that you update your plugin immediately. Make sure that you don't click on any suspicious links or attachments, and just remain aware when you're doing things online because you never know what can happen in the background.